From the KLIF 24/7 newsroom, news and information, 570 AM, 96.3 FM, HD2.
KLIF.
So what do you think about the prospect of carrying your firearms into Cowboy Stadium if you have a right to carry permit in Texas? Maybe the ballpark out in Arlington. Right now, that's not a possibility in Texas unless the legislature changes some laws. In Washington State, lawmakers are trying to make that a reality. And I think it's actually a good idea. To talk about all this is Edwin Walker. He's an attorney for Texas Law Shield, an organization that protects gun rights. Edwin, thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
So I love the idea of Washington lawmakers in Washington State saying, hey, we want to pass a bill to mandate gun owners be allowed, if they have a concealed handgun license, to carry in publicly owned stadiums. My guess is in Washington there's no way this goes through.
No, as a practical matter, there's no way it goes through. However, most of the anti-gun media is sort of, they are paying close attention to this, because while they observe that in the blue state of Washington, this really stands no chance of passing, but it could give ideas to the vast middle of the country that are red states to just simply take stadiums off of the prohibited places list, which, here in Texas, it's not specifically the stadium that's off limits, it's the event. It's the professional sporting event. So that's, that may be an area that the Texas legislature examines next session.
So does the law say in Texas that it specifically states professional sporting event, you can't carry a firearm if you're licensed to do so?
That is correct. It says professional, collegiate, or interscholastic sporting event. So it covers, well, actually, they changed the collegiate a little bit to comply with campus carry. So it does include professional sporting events. It does include interscholastic events. Collegiate events are only prohibited places if the university has posted a 30-06 sign.
All right. So what doesn't make any sense to me is that here you have a public venue which would be a target, and there is no doubt that we face threats from not just within this nation but far and wide beyond this nation. When you've got Al-Qaeda and ISIS-inspired operatives working here in the United States, why wouldn't you want an extra level of security by having a concealed handgun license holder in that stadium? These are far and away the most law-abiding citizens in the nation, and the statistics prove that.
That is correct. However, if you've looked at most of the media stories, they either purposely or in their ignorance leave out the most important fact with regard to this potential legislation, and that is what you just said, that it only applies to license holders. And so a lot of the media is going around saying, oh my God, they want to let drunk football fans carry guns at football games. That's where they're portraying it. So they completely ignore the fact that it's only the small percentage of the citizenry that are in fact license holders. And then on top of that, the even smaller percentage of folks who are both license holders and want to go to the football game.
Yeah. And it's an important distinction that you point out there. And this I've been harping away at for a long time. I believe when we talk about fake news, one of the issues with fake news is that much of the fake news comes from the mainstream media. And oftentimes it comes by omission. So I'm looking at the headline from Forbes. And Forbes is fairly, it's not really the huge liberal magazine, but here they do it. MLB responds to bill that would allow guns in Washington State sports stadiums. It's not the guns that they're allowing. It's concealed handgun license holders who happen to be carrying guns that they're allowing. And that omission is designed, I believe, to dupe uninformed Americans.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. That's exactly because they know that in our very short attention span society, that people will only read the headline, and then if they do read past the headline, it'll generally only be the first paragraph. And so they know that they can put in what they would consider accurate information, but to them, they're lying by omission does not discredit the information they're putting out. They're saying, well, they're still letting guns in. Yeah, we didn't tell you who gets to bring the guns in, but they're still letting guns in. And so it is a designed plan to misinform people. And unfortunately, a lot of times it works.
Yeah.
But that's what we have to keep saying is that that was the whole argument with Campus Carry last year whenever it was going through the legislature. It was just infuriating to see how daily that law was continuously misrepresented as a law that was going to allow 18-year-old frat guys to carry guns at their keg parties.
Right, and I want to talk to you about Campus Carry. My last thoughts on this bill out in Washington, and I do believe this is a legal hurdle they would have to get over. So it's publicly owned stadiums, right? Because you can't tell somebody on private property what to do, and I understand that. But these public stadiums are usually run by private entities. Now, we just had a ruling here in Texas. A very gun-friendly attorney general in Ken Paxton ruled in favor of the Fort Worth Zoo. That's with the very same scenario. Public property, but run by a private enterprise who wants no guns on the property. The attorney general said they can ban guns there. So what's your feeling from a legal perspective of where that should fall?
Well, that ruling, I believe, is incorrect because they looked at the management company of the Fort Worth Zoo the wrong way, and which this has been an issue for a long time. This is not a new issue. It's always been sort of an issue that's been contemplated about why is it that private enterprises get to still exclude handguns when they're located at public convention centers and stadiums and the like. Well, it's been the thinking, the legal thinking behind it is that when a private entity rents that space, they are renting it to have the exclusion of whoever they want to exclude. So if they want to charge people a fee to come in, and whether it's a gun show or a bridal show or a cat show or, ice capades, they have the ability to discriminate based upon who they want their audience to be. So they can charge a fee. They can say you've got to wear a red hat if you want to come in. They can say license holders don't bring their guns because they have paid the city for that privilege to do that, to say we get to do this. The Fort Worth Zoo is the total opposite of that, and that's why I've said that I think the zoo opinion is incorrect. I've even talked to the AG's office about it because the city of Fort Worth pays the private enterprise $10 million a year to run the zoo. So it's not the same as somebody renting government property for the purpose of excluding people they don't want in. This is a management company, a private management company that's being paid by the city. And the thing is that the Attorney General said the law is unclear in that the law specifically says that only political subdivisions and state agencies are liable. The state agency's defense is we didn't put up the sign, and under our contract, we don't have the authority to tell them to take down the sign. Therefore, why are you wanting to find us liable? And unfortunately, that's disingenuous. However, it may technically be accurate in the eyes of the AG. So what the Texas legislature will have to do is they'll have to go back in a minute and say state agency, political subdivision, or their contractees. Or private companies acting on their behalf, and then that would take away that Fort Worth Zoo ruling.
All right, so that clears up the Fort Worth Zoo deal. Now, when you talk about stadiums, clearly that's a private place, probably paying the city, or just getting free use of it and paying it some kind of a sales tax deal, as in we see with the Cowboys in Arlington. Will that hold up to scrutiny?
Well, that's a great question, and the thing is, I don't know the answer to that. But yet, like I said, it's not a new thing. Obviously, whenever somebody goes to a concert, that's not a professional sporting event. They should be allowed to carry their handgun to the concert. However, the concert promoter, quote unquote, has paid to occupy that arena or that civic center or that stadium, and as such, he has the ability to say, we can check you for guns and kick out the people, not allow in the people who don't have guns. And that issue has never been decided. Like I said, the legislature can fix it by saying that it is an automatic condition that the private lessee abide by the law as stated in Texas Penal Code 30.6 subsection E, and Texas Government Code 411-209.
Well, it is a fascinating topic to talk about, and any expansion of gun rights, I'm all for. So we shall see how this all plays out. And as usual, when it comes to gun owners' rights, it usually plays out in the courts. Hey, Edwin Walker, Texas Law Shield, thanks for sticking up for gun owners' rights. Your organization is a great one, and thanks for coming on the program.
Absolutely. We're available anytime. It's always our pleasure to come on and speak to you and your audience.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And I'm Grant Stinchfield. This is the Stinchfield Report on 570 KLIF. Let's go to Bill Jackson in the KLIF right now.